everybody. Welcome back to Iris After Hours. We are live from Iris Family Gathering in Orlando. It's live now. You won't see it live, but it's live to us. We're so excited that you're here. We're here with special guests, good friends, very good friends of mine, actually. I have a privilege to be here sitting at the same table as Andrew Fanstone and Bruno Teixeira. So we're so excited to have them. I've actually gotten to run with these guys for years. Andrew and I co-led, and along with Laura, my wife, we co-led a base in Fortaleza. And that's where I met Bruno on the streets of the slum. He was just, didn't have much to do, didn't know what he was doing with his life. He was in the slum. He didn't live in the slum. He worked already in the slum with Andrew. And so, but Bruno now also helps lead the base there. And so we're so excited to have you guys here in Orlando, have everybody together again. Not everybody, I suppose, but at least us. We get to be together. So tell us, what's this year been like in Fortaleza? What's God doing?
For me, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here, to be with Herb.
Come on.
Seems a long time. Best friends. But we're still missing him. He's went a good leader for us. And like
I didn't even tell him to say that. I was just came out organically. Thank you for saying that.
I was told. But yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, to be in Orlando, even to be in America for the first time.
Yes, you got a visa. That was awesome. That was
visa,
the Lord.
10 years visa.
10
But
years.
yeah, guys, Fortaleza has been so good. I think God is moving there. And we are excited for the next season, for what God has preparing and for us there.
Yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, so we're going to talk about a few things, but something really exciting just happened. Something you guys have been praying about for a long time. What happened? You want to tell everybody some of the testimonies of what God's doing there and what's happened recently?
Sure. Yeah. So we felt as a base that one of our callings is to raise up the next generation of, I guess, missionaries. And the Brazilian people are such a passionate people, and they're perfect to be missionaries because they're fearless and they just love to worship and go wherever God says. So we really just wanted to raise up the next generation of Brazilians, send them to the nations, and to train people you need a place. And so up to now we've been living in a house in the city center. Missionaries all live together. Started the base, had 90%. Pretty much everyone was single, apart from me and my wife, and you and your wife. And then over the last 5-6 years, we've seen the missionaries grow, and now they're all getting married and all having families, apart from Bruno.
I'm waiting.
He's single.
He's still single. He's the hard one to get.
I know he's not helping at all with this crisis of single women missionaries. He's just not participating.
What am I saying that for? So yeah, we're in this small house that's near the red light zone, near the favelas, but it's not a place where you can really get people in and train them and send them out. So basically, God's given us a vision to be a training center of Brazilians to the nations, and to do that we need a piece of land, really. People need to come and sit in classrooms, have a place to eat. And so we just pray, God, if this is your vision, you need to bring the provision. And there's a piece of land that we've been doing our last 3 schools on.
Yeah.
Just outside Fortaleza. It's a big piece of land. And we've rented it for the last 4 years.
4,
yeah.
And the original asking price was 4 million reais.
Wow.
So obviously that's way over our budget. 1,000 reais is over our budget, but 4 million even more so. But just this year, we gave an offer to them, we're going to give you 1 million reais for that, which is about $350,000. All testimonies of missionaries are always about finance, isn't it? But this is one more. And so basically, I didn't have the word of God. God said, you're going to buy this. But I knew the heart of God, and he's a good God, good Father. He's got a love for the nations. And if he's given us the vision, he will bring it in. So we just, by faith, gave a 5% deposit, and we started praying. There was a time, like every month, like God woke me up from 2:00 in the morning to 3 every day. I didn't put my alarm on for a month. And I don't just lied under the stars, because we lived by the beach, and looked up, and I said, you're a God. If you're a God that has like 1 billion stars and 1 billion galaxies, you can easily give us 1 million AIs.
Yeah.
And like 1 million AIs, if you look at it, it seems so big and too much. But if you look at it in comparison to the greatness and amazingness of God, it's nothing.
Yeah.
So we did go after it in prayer. The students that came on the last school, we got them waking up at night and praying and pushing in. And then just, do you want the whole story or just, then God gave me a divine encounter with some guy in England. And so from him, we got in touch with some businessman who sent him a proposal. And just last week, I got a message saying that he's wanting to buy the piece of land for us.
Wow.
And
That's
so,
amazing.
God's definitely got some plan up his sleeve. So the money's hopefully be arriving in the next couple of months, and we'll be able to purchase a piece of land. And I just think that's a sign that God's saying, guys, I have something for you guys that I want it to continue. And so now we just need to pray in the right people to really make this vision go forward. So yeah, God is so faithful, so amazing. When we step out in faith,
Amazing.
past our capability, that's one of the Iris values. Like, you need to live needing a miracle. And when you do that in faith and directed by the Spirit, God does the impossible. So we're very, very humbled, and to be honest, still a little bit scared. How's it gonna really go? Because it's a big piece of land. And at the moment, to be honest, we're quite a small team. So we for the last few years, we've been about 30, 40 missionaries. And now we've come down to about 15. Part of it's through success, because we're a mission sending base, so we've been sending out lots of people, which is great. But some of it also is a time of pruning. I think as a leader, you just need to discern the season you're going through, and I think God is pruning us in some places to make us. Because I think we got a little bit messy and lost a little bit of energy in doing lots of things, and He's just bringing us back. And the questions we're saying is what should we be doing? What are we doing that we need to be doing more, and what are we doing that we need to be doing less? And just trying to go back to what is it really that God has entrusted to us? And so it's when you prune, the tree doesn't look that great. It's a little bit messy at the moment. I've got to be honest. We can come to the podcast and say it's amazing, God's doing this. It is a rocky, tough season, but this is a ray of hope, saying no, God hasn't forgotten. He's got big plans, and the purpose of pruning is to produce more fruit and multiplication and healthy fruit. So it's good, fun, interesting, challenging season all in one.
Come on. Wow.
But actually, it has been so good to have close people,
Yeah.
and it seems more family, It's been good.
Yeah. That's so amazing. And I know you guys, you've been there for what? Andrew, you've been there for how many years now? 18 or something?
Yeah, 2001 came to Fortaleza.
So yeah, wow, 17 years, almost 18 years. And for you, you've been there since you were born. But with Iris and doing ministry, you've been there, what? How long you been at Iris Fortaleza?
About 6 years.
6 years, from the very beginning, of course. Bruno was there right when we started meeting in the house with no furniture. And so a lot has changed. Been through a lot of steps, huh? And I know a lot of young people are wanting to go out, and they have a call for something, whether it's in America or somewhere else. But they, the cool thing about Brazil and even Fortaleza, even though it's definitely like a developing nation, it's very third world in that way, a lot of poverty all around. But there's also, Brazil has a growing middle class. And so there's some of that context as well. It's different culture than other places, but it's cool that it kind of has both worlds, really. And how would you guys counsel people that really have the vision to we want to start something, we want to start doing something in the slums where we are, or wherever we're going, or going out somewhere, but starting something from nothing? You both have had that experience, which very few people actually have had, of really pioneering something from nothing. Before there was ever a building, it didn't start as this is a missions base. And how would you, give just maybe some pointers on like how God led you guys on that process?
For me personally, like the favela we work in, Zoitão Preto, it's one of the no-go zones of the city just because of the violence, prostitution. And so it was through my work with the street kids and the friendships with them that we managed to get in. But coming from quite English, I'm from England, so very planned and
Are
purposeful.
you really from England, Andrew? I heard you're American. Okay, no, we can cut
Being
that part
here in
out.
Orlando, I'm feeling my roots. It's good.
No, you're British. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
British. My mum's American, but yeah, which I'm proud of. Where was I? So yeah, we managed to get into this favela, and I had all these amazing plans and projects. I was going to set up these classes and these projects and save the world. And I had written it all out. It was about 5 pages, and I was going to present it to my leader, who at that time I was in YWAM. And basically God said, forget the project. All I want you to do is go and listen. And so, to be honest, sometimes we think, how are we going to start a project? And sometimes we can overcomplicate it. And it was amazing when God said, just go and listen. I was like, no, but look at this. It's amazing. It's going to change the community. But obviously I said, okay, if that's what you want. So for the first 4 months, I remember all I did is go in and listen to people. And in that process of listening, it was amazing what happened. I didn't do anything. I just walked in, didn't carry my Bible, and sat down and listened to people. And in poor, difficult communities, no one has time to look after the problems of anyone else. They're just so focused on surviving. So if someone comes in and generally listens, they start to tell you their problems, their life story. And Brazil's a lot more open than the English guys, but after like 10, 20 minutes, you know their life story, you know where they've come, their kids' problems, who's in prison, who's in prostitution, and how they got there. And you haven't done anything, but they've opened up their heart to you. And they feel like you've walked into their life and their family. And the barriers that would have come up aren't there. So really, my recommendation is go and make friends. Just go with no agenda. Generally love people and listen to them. And they start to invite you in, give you coffee. It's easy. To be a missionary, you just need to listen, drink coffee, eat tapioca, and hear them with your heart. Yeah. And then when you listen, then God will give you an appropriate word to their situation that brings real light and life. And so basically it's make friends, win them to yourself, because if they don't like you, then they're never gonna like your Jesus. But then there is that step from moving them from friends to disciples, because we weren't called to make friends, we were called to make disciples. And so again, that process happened. But when you make friends with them, like the main drug dealer there, I just went in and talked about football, my kids, whatever, and we became friends. And then one day God said to me, it's time to move to the next stage. And he walked past me and said, hey brother. I called you, hey bro, hey brother. Irmão. I said, come here, can I just have a quick word? He goes, yeah, what do you want? I said, you call me brother. Well, actually, I'm not your brother, because it says in the Bible that you're either a son of God or a son of Satan. And you've got to choose to be a son of God. And I know I am a son of God, because I've accepted Jesus and believe in him. You haven't done that yet, so that means you're the son of Satan. And so we're not brothers, because we've got different fathers. And he goes, oh, wow, yeah. And walked off. And you could never say that you're a son of Satan to a drug dealer without him coming and shooting you. But when you've got genuine relationship and friendship, you can speak into them. And then 2 days later, he walked past and said, hey, bro. I said, he goes, no, sorry, you're not my brother yet. But one day, who knows, we will be. And carried on. So it is that process of building relationship, friendship, listening to the Spirit, and then taking them into the next level of discipleship. And walking with them and not thinking about projects, but thinking about people and not thinking about resolving their problems, but raising them up, connecting them to Jesus. And Jesus comes and does the impossible. So it can be a little bit more simpler. But the other thing is so important is get a team around you that are on the same page, that are willing to never say no to Jesus, and give all they have to win the lost.
Come on. It's amazing. How was that process for you?
Yeah.
You were there right in the beginning, and you know.
And for me, I really think the same, because everything comes through relationship. And at the beginning, we just like close friends. We went to do life together, and the most important thing is like encourage those who around you to go deeper with the Lord. And yeah, like our testimonies, I think, speaks a lot, and encourage people to go after God, to go, oh, I want to experience that, I want to follow that life too.
Yeah.
And I believe if I didn't like get to know you guys and never like be in that stage, to love the Lord and keep going, because you knew me before of this, and I'm just trying to be rich.
Be what?
Rich.
Rich? Yeah. Before you did want to be rich. That was a dead end dream, man.
So you come to America.
And now you're in America, wearing a Tommy Hilfiger shirt. That's like a Brazilian dream has already come true.
Rich in Jesus, I'm sure that's what you meant. His English is not so good. I'll help.
But now I love Jesus for everything, and He gives me things.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And so, yeah, I mean, this is one thing I hear a lot about Fortaleza. Really is like, there's people that the cool thing is a lot of missions based. We see people young people coming but leaving shortly after. But Fortaleza, you guys have seen a lot of people kind of just also staying for years. Longer than they wanted to. And I think that's one of the questions I think young people have is also, when we start missions, we don't always start knowing the geographical place, that we're called. I don't think everyone starts that way. It becomes somehow really about that, the location and things like that. And I know something we always talk about was what's the balance between people feeling called out but still staying somewhere and serving well and faithfully, but like growing to a place where then they can be launched out. There's that tension of people are called to the Middle East, but maybe they don't feel led to go right now. So how can they be present where they are? Is there space for that? How can you how do you deal with that when you're running something locally? And I know your heart's been in Oitão, but also in all of Brazil. How have you guys dealt with that? Like, how does that happen?
Good question. We haven't got the answer fully yet. We're learning. I think that's a good thing about missions is like, you don't wait until you have all the answers. If you are in family, you can mess up and make mistakes as long as you are very transparent. Say that we're trying for this. This is what we're going after. Like, it's a safe place to fail. And so with some people, we probably sent them out too early. With some people, we've held them on. So the ultimate answer is we're very in tune with the Spirit. But I think the basis which we always used to say is that we use our ministry to build up people rather than using people to build our ministry, which very often in the Brazilian culture, the churches don't allow people to go because they need the people to build their empire and ministry. And from the very start, we realized that we're here not to build Iris Fortaleza. We're here to build the people and release them for their dreams. And I think the classic example was the very first year we sent like 80% of our team.
Pretty much everybody.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Except for me and Herb, we stayed behind. We sent our team to do the harvest school. Mm-hmm. And like our team was like Nedson and Naja, who were both young people that came out of the favela, and now are all massive, wonderful, amazing missionaries and leaders. Bruno and a couple of others.
I think there were about 9
Paula,
from Irish Fortaleza. Paula, Juliana.
Juliana
Juliana went, and Jason and Jen.
Paulinha.
And so there were 9 altogether, I think,
And so we sent our best out. And that was hard for us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We suffered. But what God did, when we sent them out, He brought a whole new band in. And so I believe if we didn't send them out, the whole new band wouldn't have come in. So it is like money. Like money isn't just like give and you receive. It's like give what you have, like give your best people, and God will bring more in. But there is that thing of like, we want a strong base, and we want to be living and doing what we're doing before we send. Like, if we're not living it and doing it here, then it's difficult to just send out people without having done it. So, and it's difficult also to send out your whole base, because then you die and you won't be able to send out anymore. So it is that constant struggle of like being a local manifestation of the kingdom of God and bringing local transformation and living community and family locally, but at the same time realizing that the world is so much bigger, and it's so much, and it's not led by need, is it? It's led by like God's calling on these people's lives. So really just try and identify where God is calling them and do your best to determine the group they're going to go with. We like to send out in teams, so when the team gets there, there's already a DNA amongst them, so that helps the first 2 or 3 years to like really snowball a lot quicker. If you go on your own, you have to form up that team. That takes a lot of time.
Yeah,
it's a lot harder on your own. So you send out in team, but yeah, in our calling, timing is very important. And I'm sure we've sometimes held on, and when you hold on, people get stagnated and just go backwards. And sometimes maybe sent out, and people may have struggled. But we're learning, and God is very gracious and faithful. And I think as we walk, as a toddler, we tend to fall over, but God doesn't like condemn us. He says, "No, you're doing well. Get up, keep going, and learn from the mistakes." So I think it's always very healthy to look in retrospect on how things have gone and evaluate, because then you don't do the same mistake. So it is led by the Spirit, but also use a bit of your God-given wisdom and discernment that He's given us, and we grow in.
Yeah, and also encourage them, like, what's your dream with the Lord, and God?
Yeah.
Like, what's the next step? Of course, we want people fully present for that time, but also maintain them and keep them think ahead, like at the future.
yeah,
As we learn with you how like to be not just for that moment, but to dream bigger. So keep them move at the plans of the Lord.
yeah. Moving forward, that's good. I think that's so important, and so and Bruno, how old are you, Bruno?
27.
27. So
I'm
you
gonna
know,
turn 28
ooh, you're
Next
almost
week.
my age.
next week.
Can't believe.
Same day as Heidi.
Yes. There's the same anointing.
what? Same birthday as Heidi. That is
So not a coincidence.
yeah.
The same
You
anointing.
got this, man. Yeah, I remember that now. I remember that now. But so as a young person, also like missions has changed quite a bit. We have some of our base leaders kind of watching these, and like, what do you think about the world, the missions world? Like, what's going on with a lot of young people not committing as much and like not wanting to go to missions? Why? What was it like for you? Why did you decide to do this? And now you've been doing it. You've changed your whole life around to really be doing this for the rest of your life. How did that happen for you?
Like for me, since the beginning, I had the calling, but I'm just as a quiet normal Brazilian. It's gonna happen, but I never took one step, to make that possible. And of course, right now people still want to be successful, like financially,
Successful?
yes, and most of them they have the calling already, but they need just someone to push them. Go take step, take risks. We doesn't want to take more like risks,
Yeah.
because we still think, oh, if God didn't tell me to do this, why I should do it?
Yeah.
But like for me, I was had the calling, I was had the burn inside of me, and I just like with seeing you guys, like when I met you, which was a huge help. Even Andrew too, because helped me to go after God's dreams for my life.
It's amazing, yeah. Come on, and yeah, it's amazing because I think we often do need help. We do need some encouragement to go after some of those things. On so many voices, it feels like Brazil's similar to America, where there's so many voices coming at us for what is success. Even Christians, right? Christians looks a lot like the world what success is considered. And your parents, you had the right situation. Brazilians have like this amazing thing where like their parents still like house them till they're like 30 or 40 or
They get
whatever it
married,
is,
yeah.
and feed them and bring them breakfast in bed and make their bed for them. I'm not saying this. I'm not putting you on. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. This is
Not my
exactly
example.
true. I don't think she made his bed. Did she make your bed? Your mom? No, but she would bring you food.
And
She teach me how to do it.
So, you had a great scenario, and I know, was that tough? Was your mom expecting, your parents, were they expecting you to have a certain kind of success? And, and what was that like? Were they supportive of you doing missions, and how did that whole process work?
Like at the beginning, it was a really bit hard because I'm the only son for them. So they put all the expectation, like in me, And but when I got the decision to be a missionary, like to be a full-time missionary, at the beginning it was hard, but now they are really okay. They really trust because most of the
Wow. What was on that?
thunder side of the place, the glory of the Lord. So, yeah, for them now they are okay. They are really happy. But at the beginning it was hard. But it's my life, I should take my own risks and follow what the Lord has been speak to me.
That's good. And Andrew, I mean, how was your process like? You left so much success as well. It was longer ago than me or Bruno, but it's still true. Kidding, Andrew. No, but tell us your story too. You left a life of just great success and finances. And how was that process? What was it like on your relationships?
yeah, thankfully my parents are full-time missionaries. I've got a few generations of missionaries, so it's normal. To be honest, I never wanted to be a missionary. I wasn't running away from it, but I was quite happy living my life that I was living. I was involved in church. I was good little doing the Christian thing, but in a convenient and comfortable way where I could tick the right boxes for that, but also sort of fit in the world and be successful, and working as a physio for one of the big football rugby teams, Leicester Tigers in the UK in the weekends, and in a big hospital during the week. And then basically God came and messed my life up, and he met with me. Well, first of all, he broke my heart, because that's the thing that's got to compare you. It's a broken heart of life. If you haven't got that, you're not going to last, because like missions is the best ever life to live, but it has its challenges, because the idea of missions is to go into the worst, darkest, most dangerous places where everyone goes away from, and come against that evil with good. And so obviously you're going to come up against resistance. And so I just remember like God spoke to me and broke my heart for street kids in Brazil. I used to sit at home and just cry on my own. And it wasn't in a big conference, it was in my quiet times. And it was just a gradual breaking. And I thought I was going like a bit crazy, because I was like, why am I crying for these kids? I don't even know. So I thought, well, let's just have an adventure. And I went to Brazil for 1 year, did a DTS, and it was good fun. But then I've done my God slot. Let's get back to real life, real serious work, and building my house and everything. But then 2 years later, God came and said, Andrew, go to Brazil. And that was the hard time.
Wow.
And I gave him all the excuses in the book. I can't speak the language. How am I going to survive? And all this. And then about 1 weekend, and I said, God, if you are God, I want you to take all my life. And I just lay it down, and I will go wherever you say. And that was the breaking point. From then, it wasn't a real fight with God. It was a pleasure and a lightness to follow him. And so that's when I came to Brazil, and it's not always easy. First day, you probably right. No, I got like robbed and by a street kid, and he threw stones at me and swore at me, and it's like, I've given up everything to come here for this. But seriously, it's like it is the best and most amazing life, especially if you look at your life as eternity. Because I think that's one of the big things. Like missions doesn't make sense if we die when we're 80. It's like, why? But if we understand eternity and our life isn't here, it's there, and what we do here will change eternity, then it makes sense. And it's the whole verse of what do you gain if you give your whole life? If you gain the whole world but lose your soul. And so there is a balance, and it's like on one side it is the whole world, on one side it's your soul. And the Bible says your soul, one soul is worth than the whole world. And so if we save just one street kid, that soul, according to the Bible, is more valuable than the whole world. So we've invested our life. And by the grace of God, we've seen many people touched and saved, and raised up many people to go and reach the lost treasure in the nation. So it's an amazing and wonderful life, and I'd recommend anyone to do it.
Come on. That's just radical. Yeah, radical love, radical Christianity, going out there, giving your life for the broken, and that's amazing. I love that, Andrew. I love your heart. I love you guys so much. It's been such a joy to have you guys here. And you guys at Irish Fortaleza, there's some schools happening. Do you know when the next school is going to be?
It's going to be March next year.
Next year. It'll be on our website, right? irishglobal.org under the schools tab. You can apply for that. That's an awesome school. People that want to do missions, and do long term, that's an amazing option as well. So just really, apply for that. And you don't know when that's going to be open, probably the next few months. By November. Okay, great. And how can people get in touch with you guys?
You can get in touch by Iris Brazil. He's the social man.
Okay,
You tell
it's
him.
true.
Our email is fortaleza.irisbrazil.org.
.org.
IrisBrazil.org.
Yeah,
Great.
it
So
is.
that's the website, Fortaleza.
Fortaleza.
You can see on his shirt how that's spelled. Fortaleza.irisbrazil with, is it Brazil with a Z? With an S.
West.
With an S. So that's tricky for the American. Irish Brazil with an S. Brazil with an S. Okay. .org. And then, if I remember correctly,
Facebook, Instagram.
Irish
Fortaleza.
Fortaleza.
Yeah, Irish
Great.
Fortaleza.
And so that's awesome. So reach out to them if you guys want to serve Irish Fortaleza. You want to get to know what they're doing. They have lots of stuff up on the internet. They're young and hip, so they have social media stuff happening, I think, right? Like Instagram and all that. So you guys can connect with them. But thank you guys all at home for watching, being part of this. We love you guys. We hope you're blessed by some of this. And we just encourage you guys to be like these, to what Andrew was saying, everyone was saying, just to give your lives for the gospel. Pray about what God's asking you to do, and even if it's costly, but it's worth it. It really is. And so love you guys, and love you guys all at home. Bless you all.
This podcast is presented by Iris Global. For more information or to support the work of Iris Global, please visit us online at irisglobal.org.